These guys are complete pushovers. Alright, more, sure thing. Oh wait, these are stronger. Hold on. wait, hold on. These guys are stronger than the others. wait a minute, getting shot. Alright, good. I mean, they're all frigates, but somehow some of them are stronger than the other frigates. You know what I mean? I'm getting kinda wrecked here. Alright, let's take these guys out. Man, they're firing rockets at me, right? Or missiles. Oh yeah, well I can fire back. Take that. Alright, and we're done. Well, that was a little bit more threatening. It's also like quite inconsistent. Like some of these ships do nothing to you, and then some of these ships are actual threats to you, and it's difficult to predict, or there's just no way to predict what you'll find when you get into a mission. Like things spawn halfway through a mission, and you don't really have any control over what's going on. Alright, we've looted that one. Let's go loot this one. Yeah, there's no... I don't know how... Why would they... What would be the solution? Like, okay, so if we think about game design, if my complaint is that you go into a mission not really knowing what you're gonna face. So, I guess they could like estimate this stuff, right? Couldn't they give you like an estimate of, like they can look at your ships, look at what your effective hit points are, and then they can say what the combined firepower of all the ships in the mission is, and like give you some sort of estimate as to whether or not you'll get completely owned. I don't know, but then like positioning and fitting and kiting makes such a big difference, so I don't know if that actually is a good idea. Maybe it's just a matter of playtesting. Maybe it's just a matter of testing the game enough so that you have confidence about these things. So I'm just thinking about Diablo, which has its own issues with difficulty. So the thing with Diablo is that your difficulty curve doesn't progress with your gameplay. What happens is you play the game, and then when you get stronger, because once you get to level 70, once you get to the end game, the way you get stronger is by finding better equipment. Mostly it's by finding better equipment. And so when you find the right set of equipment, and some equipment have synergies, right? And so if you have just decent equipment, but there's no synergies, you are much weaker than if you have decent equipment, but they all have synergies. So you want like certain equipment, like a certain build of equipment. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, as you do that, you get more powerful, but the game doesn't really recognize that because you're at level 70, so the game doesn't know how strong you're supposed to be. It doesn't know like what synergies your equipment has. So So then it's up to the player to adjust the difficulty of the game. So you choose the level of difficulty, and you can just kind of crank that up, and it will just keep multiplying the damage output and the health of the enemies as you do that. So you go from like Torment 1, Torment 2, Torment 3, Torment 4 up to Torment 13. And so the player has to choose the the player has to choose where on the difficulty curve they want to play on. So the game doesn't have a difficulty curve, really. I mean, it kind of does, but once you get to the end game, it doesn't, and it's just you choosing the balance between how difficult the enemies are and how much loot they drop for you. So the more difficult it is, the more loot they drop, but also, you know, it's more health point, more hit points, and more damage output. So you have to figure out for yourself what difficulty level you're playing on. The game doesn't know that, but you have the option to choose. Alright, complete this. You've destroyed a pirate ring that would have taken us months to work through. High marks all around, thanks. You've done good work for me, and I have one last request. Go and tell Mizara's Amar Masters that she will work for them no more. Oh, nice. Report to Doveridge Anslim. Set destination. Alright, now we're flying all the way down to Amar space. But the thing with Diablo 3 is that there's a consistent and predictable difficulty curve. So if you choose Torment 5, you know what Torment 5 means. Or like once you've played a little bit of Torment 5, the rest of Torment 5 is the same difficulty. It's pretty much the same difficulty. I mean, there's a little, like, some things like skeletons are easier, and then some of the Reapers are more difficult. Anyway, but it's about the same, right? So if you can beat a boss on Torment 5, you can probably beat all the other bosses on Torment 5. It's that sort of thing. And that's consistent. So in this game, you have difficulty levels for missions, kind of. There's like level 1 to level 5. But even within each level, there's quite a bit of variety. Like for example, playing through the Sisters of Eve arc. It's all supposed to be level 1. I think it's the whole arc is supposed to be level 1, but then some of the missions are a lot easier than others. Like some of them we're getting down to half shields. Some of them we get scrambled and webbed, and if we didn't get away in time, we would have died. So some of these missions are much more difficult than others. So even just in level 1, there's quite a range of difficulties, which is a little odd and a little difficult to prepare for.
Warp drive active.
And yeah, and it was the same with on my other account, the one I played for 2 months for, the one where I got up to the battleship. So I had a battleship that could get through all the level 4 missions. So I was playing a whole bunch of level 4 missions, and I could do them just fine on the battleship. And then I went into an epic arc, which is supposed to be a level 4 epic arc. And then I got to one of the later missions, and I just hit a wall. I couldn't get past it because there was a few ships there that had too much recovery, too much tanking, and so like I was a kiting ship, but then I could have fit, so I could either go closer range and do more damage, or but by changing the ammunition, I can go closer range and do more damage, or stay further away and do less damage. But because I was a railgun ship, if I went too close, I would die because there's I think there were 2 battleships on the other side who did a lot of damage at close range. But then if I stayed far away, they couldn't hit me, but I also couldn't hit them enough to take down their shields because their shields recovered too fast as well. So I was literally stuck. And that had never happened in any of the other level 4 missions. So that particular level 4 mission somehow was significantly more difficult than all the others. Again, there's this weird difficulty spike where you expect to be able to do these missions, and you have a ship that can do like 99% of the missions, and then there's one of them that you just can't do for some reason. So like, why is that one so much more difficult? And the thing is, if I had a Caldari ship and I had missiles, I could do that mission, because the missiles are much longer range and better damage at range. It's possible that if I went in with an armor tanking, close range armor tanking ship, I could have done that as well. But that's a different battleship I have to buy. I tried going in there with a battle cruiser. So I figured, okay, I can't do the kiting thing because I don't do enough damage at distance. So what if I built a close range high damage ship, which the Galante they have in them. So the Galante have railguns or blasters. I think called blasters? Anyway, so the blasters are close range. So I made a battle cruiser, close range, serious tanking, and blasters, but I still couldn't do it. Like I could survive, I could kind of survive, like I could barely tank my way to not die. But then I still wasn't doing enough damage to kill them. I was just not doing enough damage to kill them in the battle cruiser. Which means I need to do that, but with a battleship, a close range armor tanking high damage battleship is what I needed. So the kiting battleship that I had, which works really well against everything else, was not good enough for that, so I need a different battleship. And I just couldn't afford that. Like, I couldn't afford to buy a second battleship at that point in time. So there's like this. So the whole point of the story is that there's a weird difficulty spike sometimes in this game. Like it's not well balanced, right? There are spikes in the difficulty that you just can't get past. When you expect, like based on your experience with other parts of the game, you expect that you should be able to get past it, but then you can't do it. And that's just a game design problem. It's just a game balance problem. I mean, that mission, they don't have to put those ships there. They could have put ships that have less shield recovery. If the ships had less shield recovery, I could have done it. And that's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. I mean, I guess. And the thing is, like, it's not a problem with Eve as such, as just not ideal game design. Because a lot of games have those kinds of issues. A lot of games like aren't properly balanced and have weird difficulty spikes. I guess it's just game design. It's just that you have to test it. Like if a level 4 mission is supposed to be doable by a solo battleship, then what you need to do is you need to get every single battleship and just test it, right? There are, how many battleships are there? I mean, well, there's these ones. So let's just take the faction ones. So faction battleships, there's 3, and of course these are just better versions of those 3, so we don't need to test those. So there's 3 base battleships there, and then there's 3 base battleships there, 3 there, and 3 there. So for the Empire battleships, there are 12 battleships that you just need to test. So to test the game, you need to get into each of those battleships, fit them with something reasonable, and anything less than Tech 2, I suppose. I guess just put a basic fitting on each of the basic battleships and just try to do the mission and see if you can do it. And if you can't do it, then you say, alright, this is not level 4 mission, this is like a level 5 mission, because these battleships with these basic fits, like even if 11 of the battleships can do it and one of them can't, you still have to lower the difficulty, because like a level 4 mission is supposed to be doable in a battleship, and not a huge powerful battleship, but just just an ordinary one. I guess the other thing was if I had more time to train more skills, then my weapons would do more damage or have bigger range or whatever it is. So my skills were also a little bit short. And when you get up to battleship level, it takes a long time to train your skills, right? Because in this game you trade time for progress. And so there were a number of answers. I could either buy a different battleship, I could train more skills and get better equipment, or I could find a friend, which I never bothered to find a friend, but if I find like a couple of friends to help me out, maybe like 3 battleships, 3 kiting battleships would have enough damage output to kill them, whereas 1 would not have enough damage output. So there are a number of things I can do, right? So I understand that.
Docking permission requested.
But it is still the case that it was supposed to be a level 4 mission. But it was not doable in a ship that could do every other level 4 mission. Except this particular one. Anyway, difficulties, Blacks. I disagree. So who am I talking to? This guy. A matter of decorum. I would speak with you about your search for Dagon, but first a matter of decorum. The late Mistress Mizara's parents entrusted the safety of their child to my lord. He has attempted to make amends, but I'm afraid my lord can be indelicate. He would replace their daughter with reparations of gold and isk. Oh, this must be handled with more care. Take this toy. The mistress first arrived at my lord's estate with nothing to her name but this. As you destroyed her body, it is the only physical connection left in this world that her family will recognize as hers. Deliver this to the body, and with the utmost care, they have already suffered enough. Sure, I mean, we killed a pirate, so... Alright, I'm gonna deliver a doll to her dead family. Should I put a bullet in the door as well? Take a gun, shoot a hole in the doll's head? Okay, let's go walk the location. Also, how far are we in? Mission 37. Alright, we're not close. I mean, we're kinda close. I just wanna finish this off. On the other hand, it's not that close. 37, so there's like 13 more missions. I should probably take another break. 13, 26, well... What time is it? No, I can't keep going. It's gonna... I don't know, it's gonna take a while. Alright, let me just keep reading about missiles. Rockets and light missiles. Oh wait, here's the box. Rockets are the short-range version designed for frigates. They fire rapidly, do fair damage, but are very short range. Even with skills, they barely break 10 kilometers, although some ships like Kestra and Korax have bonuses to missile velocity, meaning extra range. They have fairly low CPU and power grid requirements. Where's the stupid door? Here it is. There. Done.